Live at the door. All right. All right, you good. You go inside. Good morning, everyone. I have a couple folks. I got Mac and Tristan from Trailer. What's up, y'all?
How you doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. How about you?
Doing good. Where are y'all based out of?
Still in South Carolina.
Okay, cool. All right. I have a family that lives in Columbia.
Oh wow, yeah, that's like an hour away from where we live.
That's cool. Are you guys closer to the beach or to the mountains?
To the beach.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hell yeah. All right, well, it's sick. So I was listening to you guys don't have a lot out, which is kind of cool. You guys are still kind of finding a bunch of stuff, but I did listen to that new single of yours. I believe it's what's it? Fear Knows No Bounds.
Yes.
There's you got a lot of fucking really cool, weird, dark metal, black metal, like this whole thing. Kind of walk me through what y'all are doing. There's I like kind of how it's like lo-fi metal in a weird way.
Yeah, it's very lo-fi. We actually record in a barn. No, that song that we made, Fear Knows No Bounds, it was a Halloween song, so we kind of wanted to make it, dark and stuff. And if you listen to a lot of our other music, you'll notice it's not very similar. All our songs are very different from each other because we
Yeah.
have so many different influences.
Yeah, and there's also one part where the song was supposed to end, but it goes on a few extra seconds because I actually improvised mid-recorded section on one part with a wah pedal. So
Hey, let's fucking go. When it comes to so first of all, why the name Trailer?
Do you want to say it?
I'll say it. So we wanted a simple name, but we wanted something to have a meaning. So we
Yeah.
both live in trailers, so we named it Trailer, and it was simple.
There's something about simplicity, dog. That's just like that's how it works. I love it.
Very
Um,
memorable.
yeah. What when you guys were, writing and recording all this stuff, what are you guys listening to during that time?
A lot of so we got a lot of bands like System of a Down. You got Nirvana, got some Creed in there too.
Hell
Breaking
yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah. I also listen to those. I have because we have different influences. I have a lot more emo and more extreme metal influences than he does because he's more of a new metal and like I guess divorced dad rock type of stuff.
Hell
And
yeah.
and I like a lot more extreme metal and I like more emo stuff. Like I like Motionless in White is a big influence for me. Stuff like that, bands like that. So yeah, that's what a lot of our songs are based off of is stuff like that.
Okay, hell yeah. How did y'all meet?
So we met through a friend. Uh, funny story. The first day we ever met, we were going to a party that my friend invited us to, and uh, my friend and I were going to pick him up from his house, and it was I had a truck and it was only two seats, right? And so he had to ride in the back on the bed of my truck across town to the party that we were going to.
Let's just say I laid down in the back of the truck.
Yeah, he did do that, and it was dirty. It was very
But
dirty.
that was the first time I met him. He brought his acoustic guitar, and we was out there jamming.
Hmm.
And then from there, we started playing covers and stuff, and we're here now.
Hmm.
Hell yeah. When did y'all meet?
Like the summer of 2023, I believe.
Okay, cool. So it's been like, a year and a half of y'all hanging out playing music. Now, is this when it comes to like band stuff, I feel like it's either someone has an idea and is like, I'm looking for members, or was it hey, we should start a band, we both like music?
It was a spontaneous. We should just start a band.
Yeah, because we played a lot of covers at the time, and then Mac was like, "Well, why don't we just make our own song?" And then we just came up with a song on the spot, which still isn't released, so I won't speak on a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you can speak on what are y'all's plans for this year?
So probably gonna release a few more singles, and then an EP by the end of the year is our plan.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Is what would you say is going to be kind of like the style, this thing that you're kind of trying to go for the rest of these things? Are they going to be closer to the Fear Knows No Bounds thing, or is that just more like
That
what?
was more. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm just kind of fascinated by like um what you want this to sound like because it like Fear Knows No Bounds is kind of an interesting introduction to you, and it's like the first thing y'all released, but it's not going to reflect what you want the actual band to sound like later on.
No, it's not because I think we're gonna keep screaming, but we're gonna try and move away from all this, from mostly screaming, and introduce more clean and catchy type of vocals and stuff.
Cool.
Like Breaking Benjamin type of hooks and stuff is very influential to
Yeah,
me.
kind of like don't overdo it, but don't underdo it.
Hmm.
We don't want to get rid of it completely.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's got to be kind of a moment where it's like focus.
Hmm.
And I always feel like talking about um the concept of a brand, like the what you want to sound like, what people are expecting you to sound like. Um, do you think that there is a sound that people are expecting you to make? I mean, you have only a couple songs out where it's nice where you still kind of have freedom to still kind of do what you want.
That is the good thing. We can move in any direction we want at
Yeah.
this point.
Mhm.
That's why we really wanted to be that type of band where we didn't have one specific type of sound we have. We really mix around and play around with a lot of different sounds and see what people like.
Hmm.
That's what we don't want to
That's
be like
We're kind of
everybody.
experimental at the moment, just seeing what people like, seeing what
Yeah.
sticks.
That's kind of nice. I feel like I haven't talked to a band that is in like this kind of early of a stage, where it's y'all are still trying to find, your sound. It's more exciting than it is stressful. But I bet there's some, what would you guys think is like kind of where you find the stress while doing this band stuff?
Well, it's just the only thing is we have a very obviously this band isn't really like making any money at the moment because we have a lot of we have a busy schedule like with other stuff other than the band. So,
Hmm.
um, and we don't have a lot of time to usually record. So a lot of times when we do record, it'd be over the course of like a couple days, and we like work all day for both of those days, like 12 hours a day for both of those days to try and get stuff
Sure.
done. We've done that a lot. And we are don't have a lot of technology, and we're very cramped in our spaces. So a lot of the stress is mainly because of the budget limitations basically on
Mhm.
what we have
What
when
do
it
you
comes to
guys
what.
Tell me
Oh, go
about
ahead.
your recording. Tell me what you're recording. Like, so like you have this barn. I mean, you guys aren't recording to tape. You guys are doing it into like a laptop or something?
Yes, we're doing it to a computer in a uh we've used a couple of softwares. We've used BandLab and uh the Pro Tools.
But
That's what we've usually used. We haven't really produced much music before, so
Sure.
we are, still learning
we're
really.
really focusing on getting like better software and equipment because see with BandLab we're really trying to invest in like a better software because BandLab likes to mess around with our stuff and it really likes to push us away and not really push us away but stop us, drag us down, kind of like slow our time
Hell yeah.
because that's kind of the whole reason. Like this is the whole simplicity thing you was talking about, like the barn demos. We gave it the barn demo name because we made our songs in a barn. you know.
Yeah. Now so kind of like when it comes to at this level, there's kind of this I've talked to a lot of bands and that when they're at this level, there's kind of like not only is there a lot of like freedom and everything, but there is also like I find that there's some kind of stress to like get something done and out there. Uh, but that doesn't exist for y'all. Like that's kind of I feel like that there's a freedom that you think you have, but there's actually a freedom that I think you haven't realized that you have. Is that you have all the time in the world to learn and do all this stuff. Like if you got like for me and my band, we meet like once every couple of weeks to like I'll meet with my guitarist who's also like the producer and I'll just record in his room for a couple hours. Then I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm 37 years old. I can't like do everything all the time. If y'all are doing this for at least like what you think is not a lot of time, as 12 hours in a fucking day, you guys have a lot of time.
That is, I when you put it like that, yeah.
Like you have a lot of time to like cramp in a lot of like really cool time to like learn and to write and to record and uh there's no expectation to like there's really no expectation to get anything out until it's exactly how you want it.
Hmm. That
Like
makes sense.
it's pretty cool to like hear that, like I you sound like you're a little rushed to do stuff, but please do not. Please do not feel rushed. It is you are fine. You are in a golden place, baby boy. Like you're good. It's really, really nice. I'm glad that we are talking because like I can almost sense a little bit of anxiety that you want something more out there.
Hmm. I think a lot of it just has to do with um where we want to be in a career of music, as opposed, because it's especially with social media, you all you see is where people are, and but so most people, 99% of people aren't anywhere amazing like a lot of these bands we look up to are.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. I mean, I feel like that the distance between uh actually making money with your music and where everyone else is at is like an astronomical distance.
mhm.
Like it's just there is I think the dream and the hope is still there, but like I mean, I think that even at like bands that are at the level of like 4 years strong. I mean, like, okay, if you're like in pop and you're doing all that stuff, yeah, sure, you're gonna probably be making in the millions because you're like, first of all, you're touring 200 days out of the year. And you're doing like you're selling stuff for movies, you're doing stuff for like you're doing sync for movies and you're doing brand deals, you do all that stuff. But like uh most of those people that are like doing lots of stuff are entrepreneurial and using like their fame to boost or, more of their money, but music in itself is probably not going to be that much ever.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
Ever.
I've known that most of it is probably going to be selling a product other than music, like merchandise and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Like
Like you said, talking about branding and stuff, because your band is a brand, it's a business in and of
and
itself.
another thing is like we wanted to also like be interactive with our fans because we feel like the more interactive with the fans, we want them to have enjoyment too, not just stand there and listen to the song,
oh
and like just
yeah.
understand us. Like we have had an idea where we wanted to have like a crowd type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that I found is that like I think one of the mistakes that I made in the beginning, and maybe it wasn't a mistake, maybe this is just what you kind of have to do, or like how the what the journey is like. I remember in the beginning when I was like, okay, cool, I've got like 6 songs, I've got enough for a set. Um, Here we found band members, we practiced, we're ready to go, and then we played like 35 shows that year locally here in Nashville. And I was so burnt out, but like it, and I'm trying to think if it was like helpful at all to even play that much.
Mm.
I think it was more just practice, just, but after the 10th show, you're kind of like, okay, cool. I think that, we got it. There was a tweet that I saw from my friend. He's in a band called Camden, and he's been doing this thing for like uh, 14 years, something like that. And he was telling everyone like, "Hey, this is what I hope for bands in 2025. Play less shows and take your fucking time." I think that like right now in this weird again, music is in a like how do you guys feel about like the state of music as it is?
Um, it is just weird. Like you said, it is just really weird. You don't really know. It's kind of hard to make expectations about anything nowadays because everything's just weird.
Yeah,
It's just,
and
yeah.
it's like another thing is like a lot of band like bigger bands have been around for a real long time, and even the bands now, the newer ones, they all blow up real fast off of just a clip or something that they got. When we're actually trying to, like you said, be different and trying to find our sound and want to actually post our songs and all that and like promote our music in a way that isn't just off of a clip and us getting popular off of something like a little certain
It's
thing.
hard to break in now. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to break in to the music scene nowadays because everything seems so decentralized as opposed to how it used to be, where you have a set path that you got to go on, but there's so many different paths you can take nowadays.
It's like
Yeah,
some of
it's free. There's again, there's like, yeah, y'all are in a free space, but I feel like music is in a free space. It's in it. There's like kind of an up for grabs space where it's more about community than it is about like viralness. I don't think that record labels, first of all, like the big record label stuff, that shit's dead. No one is
Right.
joining those big fucking record labels anymore. No one in our scenes are, at least. And then the other thing is like record the state of record labels now are just like, hey, we help make vinyl, or we help with tapes. It's like, just, hey, we're trying to do splits with bands, and it's like no one has a deal with like record labels that are at that level. It's just like per release.
Yeah, and
um
there's not been any big, you notice that there's not really big any in the scene. Like there's not been any superstars in the scene since like the mid 2000s because record labels don't have monopoly over the music scene
and a
anymore.
lot of like the music industry can kind of be manipulative if you don't go into it right.
Hmm.
It can really be manipulative. It's like
yeah, I think that there's, when I think about like, okay, what are like the biggest bands in our scene right now that like have more freedom? I would say like maybe Free Throw, Ben Quad, those bands like that are able to tour and just tour,
Mm.
and for their living. They don't have jobs on the side, where they can just make music. But they've been doing this, like, I think Free Throw's been doing this for 12 years.
Hmm.
Ben Quad's been doing it for 5, but they're, and like everyone says Ben Quad is like a rising star when they've been doing this for 5 years. Like
Hmm.
it's like, how long have y'all been, you've been doing this, like a year and a half, doing stuff?
We have been doing it for like a year and a half, but we have not. We released our first song in August of last year,
Cool.
so like in the public eye, we've only really been around for like 5 months.
I mean, yeah, that's great. And like, I think that there's still a little excitement about like the sound y'all are doing, because I think it's I think one thing that is interesting is that in the state of like the community aspect is that it's no longer just emo anymore. It's just DIY. And it used to be DIY emo, like all this stuff. No, like, no, it's encompassing fucking everything. Like if you think of the band Cheem, like they do everything cool, and they're just crazy. And so I think that the net is larger, and
Yeah.
it's all about just respect and holding each other accountable, and being just a part of a community rather than what the fuck you're actually
Yeah,
playing.
what I'm glad about nowadays is that there's no conformity to when it comes to what sound you have to make. People
Yeah.
will accept whatever sound you make as long as you're genuine about it and you genuinely like your sound. I feel like that people nowadays will accept it because there's not some sort of big conglomeration that forces you to subscribe to a specific sound anymore.
yeah, and we want to like we really that's the main thing we wanted to do when we first ever started this was to be like original and have our own sound and not have nobody try to tell us what to do, tell us, oh, you got to sound like this or that, because we want to do our own thing. Like everything you hear, we sit in the barn and come up with that and write all this just ourselves.
And one thing as well is there's like no music scene in our town.
Mhm.
Like we honestly we're probably the biggest band in our town, and I say that because we're probably the only band in our town, right? That's why in our bios it always says biggest band in Dillon, South Carolina, because we're probably the only one in the entire town, right?
There's something fucking super endearing about y'all, where there's like this there's kind of like this hope and a dream thing that y'all have that I haven't heard in a long time that I'm like y'all are kind of inspiring in a fun way because in a place where um like I'm in Nashville, this place automatically fosters music. And
Yeah, yeah,
there's lots of things for that. But in like a space that in like Dylan that doesn't there it's basically zero fostering of music.
Mm.
Y'all are like the flower coming out of the concrete.
right.
Like there's
There, there,
something
there,
really cool about that.
there is like the only music around here is rap. Honestly, there was
Mhm.
one. We are well, we kind of are like we know a few rappers around here because regardless of if we have the same music style, it's good to have connections in any sort of industry. And we know there was one rapper. There was one rapper around here who blew up recently. He got a few million views on YouTube and stuff, and he's pretty big and around here. So and he's probably the biggest artist around. He's called SOB Cam. That's his
Cool.
name. And so, I what I thought was like, oh well, if he can do it, I think we can do it. Of course, I think it'd be harder though because around here, rap
We're
is
trying
really the
to.
predominant genre,
Yeah.
and there's there's bands don't really exist around here. Artists exist there's a lot of rappers around here, but there's no bands really.
We're basically trying to dig up a grave from the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah,
Kind of.
there's this I mean this is the thing is that due to kind of like a supply and demand thing, there will be people that like are bored and are looking for something new. And if y'all are the only people doing it, they might actually flock to it.
That is
Have y'all played yet?
we have um we have not played any shows because there's no venues willing to book us around here because of the fact that we have such a different style and we're
Yeah,
not set up in the industry.
we would have to literally travel miles and miles, literally just to play at a simple place,
Yeah,
just like a show.
and I've asked around like a lot of venues and stuff. They usually don't respond, but like around here the only well, not in our town, not just in our town, but in all the surrounding areas, because we have some decent sized towns around us, like Myrtle Beach and Florence, South Carolina. Those are some
Hmm.
pretty decent sized towns.
Sure.
Um, and they have good music scenes. They have good music scenes. The only thing is that there's no really metal bands around here. All the like the local bars and stuff are barely willing uh to accept younger and newer bands coming out because they're very complacent with the bands they do choose to book because they're familiar with that and older and um they're older and a lot of the bands are like old like 60-year-olds and classic rock and country and stuff around here is what they usually book. And we are going to play a show this year. The show we're going to play, well, a couple shows, a couple local festivals. And the reason that we are playing is specifically because our genre, because what I was told by the lady who is running the show there, the local music scene, is that we all there is country. That's all everybody. That's the only bands they can ever book because that's what everybody plays around here. That's all they can book. But they're booking us because we are different and they need something different and
I
new
fucking
to
told you. Yeah, like it's you are literally the only supply.
exactly. Yes. I've noticed that too, which is good. The only thing I think our what we have to do is find the people that are drawn to this
Yeah,
sort of
and
thing.
that's like a really like another big thing that's kind of also slowing us down is members.
That is yeah, because we don't want it
Sure.
just to be us two.
And for where we're at and where we're located, there's nobody around that does the stuff that we do because of like they do like you said, Max said like other genres like rap and stuff. They focus more on that type of stuff than they do with what we're doing because like you said, we're really the only supply.
Yeah, and there's no musicians around our area. We've been, trying to find more. It's a miracle we met. It's a miracle that we met and we had this friend that introduced us. So we're trying to get new members. A drummer and a rhythm guitarist is what we're looking for at the moment. Because we don't have, it's hard around here. So that's basically it. I was kind of ranting, but yeah.
No, but this is where you're supposed to rant. Uh
Okay.
this yeah, the I'm trying to think of like um when it comes to those moments where like, yeah, you've been accepted to play a show and you don't have a drummer and a rhythm guitarist, you can
Hmm.
still fucking do that
Yeah, what
because
we've done is I have I have somebody. We do have a like a session drummer that we're using. He doesn't write the music. We write the music, but he's like a session drummer. But the thing is, we wanna do a lot of shows, and he's older and he has a family and stuff, so it's kind of hard for him to do the same shows as we do because he has a lot more responsibilities than
Yeah,
we do. We have like no
sure.
responsibilities in life.
he's actually helped us produce our main single.
Yeah, Fear Knows About. He helped us produce that. But he's like a rap producer, so he's very different. His methods are very different than any.
But
Yeah.
it honestly gave us it helped give us our own sound at the same
I
time
agree with that.
for him not like basing in that genre and him still doing all that low key like gives us a different sound and our
Yeah,
own type of sound.
there's something about him exploring the void that lets him get creative and that's it's like instead when you're doing something you don't normally do, you're not hitting like the same like habits. So like that's so cool that this guy got to help y'all with that. Does it feel like you leveled up in a way because you got to, get some great advice from this guy as well?
It does. It really does. It does. He introduced us to a lot of stuff we didn't know, and a lot of techniques that we didn't know, which is good. He's actually like a family friend. So like,
Hell yeah.
yeah. We knew him, and he offered to help us, and so we accepted, even though it was a different genre. I think that it still a lot of times you should probably cross over in those genres to understand what they do right and apply that to your specific scene.
And I honestly think like it's a really big difference between when we're producing and whenever he's producing because I don't know if it's because of we've been writing and making songs and recording so long to where we just really notice those little tiny differences between the songs that we recorded and produced between the one he produced. You could hear a difference.
But a lot of our fans actually said that the Fear Knows No Bounds is a lot better produced than the rest of the
It is
music we have.
It
noticeable.
Yeah,
is.
It is very noticeable.
It
That's
is
why
it's nicer. It is 100% nicer. It's a step there's a step up yours. It's a couple of steps up. It's nice.
That's why I
mhm.
feel like if we had a better equipment and we were able to do something with where we're at in the
I
place
feel
that
as
we
if the
record it, we could really
mhm.
make our quality sound
I feel
good.
as if the biggest thing is learning the technique as opposed to equipment is learning the techniques that these big guys, these producers use. And I feel like a lot of it is learning what effects are good, what how to make the good tones you want. I am the singer, but like I haven't been singing for very long. Like I'm not gonna say that I'm good at singing. I wouldn't say that I am quote unquote good at singing, but I think the biggest thing is the best way to get better is just to continuously do it. So that's what we're trying to do is just keep
And
making
and
stuff
I will
and
say
it'll get better.
And I will
Yeah.
say, I've noticed it's more of like we're gonna say again, trying to find our tone or find our sound. He's tried like singing in different ways and multiple ways to find that sound. And Fear
Hmm.
Knows No Bounds actually really shows the way how people's interacted with our song that could have a potential of how we could have our sound. But
Hmm.
there's still always more to learn and go through the process.
There's
Hmm.
also something to say about like arcs where like I feel like it is okay to have growth in your sound. Like if anyone listens to Title Fight, the way that Title Fight changes from record to record, or if you listen to Brand New, how everything changed from record to record, or any band that it's grow or die. So like you have to keep changing either with the times or at least tell a cohesive story inside of the record. Um, where like the stuff that we're planning for our second record is we're trying to stray away from a lot of the things that we didn't like about the first record, and we're going to be focusing on like uh more of the chapter two of everything, which allows it to be different. It's like every time that you make a record, it should be like building a house, and by the end everything should, from song to song, should feel comfortable, like moving from one room to the next. And then the next house that you build could be completely different. It could be a completely different sound, but it's more that what you're trying to capture in a record that's, 30 to 40 minutes long is, hey, this is the last 2 years of my life. I think that there's something like I cannot stress enough how lucky y'all are to be able to have, first of all, everyone, this community is like here for you. That's what we're built to do, is to like help. Like, hey, you should use Reaper if you're having like limitations of anything. That shit's free as fuck. Like, do you know the band Falling in Reverse?
Oh, I love that band. Yeah.
All right, so Falling in Reverse, and so I am, well, I'd say we're friends, but we haven't talked for a little bit. But I know the producer for, he's the ex drummer of the Browning,
Hmm.
and he's uh, I think the producer right now for Falling in Reverse, uh,
Interesting.
where he does everything on Reaper. He mixes and masters everything on Reaper. Uh,
Really?
uh, the My guitarist does everything, production, mixing, mastering on Reaper, and that
Hmm.
shit's free. Like you don't have to pay. Like it'll ask you if you want to pay, but it's built be um to be far away from the Pro Tools model. The Pro Tools model is you have to pay $300 a year to just have access to it. Where
That is.
like,
I'm sorry.
no, 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 go ahead. Because if you wanted to talk shit about Pro Tools, I'm here to talk shit about Pro Tools.
No, yeah, that's actually a lot better of an idea in my opinion with the crowdfunding as opposed to forcing a payment. I feel like that is a lot healthier for the community and the scene for that instead of, you know, um, instead of because paying for a subscription, what should determine your value as a service or something is like if people want to pay for it as opposed to how much you charge for it because what that feels like what determines your value in anything. I know I said the same thing twice, but yeah,
No,
is
you're right. It's like the thing is that there's Pro Tools tells the world that they are the golden ticket, that this is the best product. And then they
mm,
slap a price tag on it, but that's a per month thing. And then Logic came out, which is $200 one shots, stop, just like that's it. You only have to pay $200 one time. And then Reaper, which was out even before them, it came from a person that was like, fuck Pro Tools. I think that we could make something that everyone can use. And that's what Reaper is. It is like the the revolution in comparison to the monopoly that Pro Tools has. It's
that
awesome.
that's funny because the our producer our the one that helped us he wasn't active for a while. He was only active like in the late 2000s, early 2010s. So that was the time where like the Pro Tools and stuff really had a monopoly on like what people used to mix and stuff. So that's really funny because that's what he swears by Pro Tools is what he says, but we don't have the money to get Pro Tools, you know.
Yeah,
So
dude, dude, get fucking Reaper and then just go on YouTube, give yourselves an hour and a half a day to just like practice doing weird stuff on it and you'll learn it. And it'll take like a week. Like it's great. It's a little it's it's really powerful and you can do a lot with it. It just looks a little boring. Like that's just all it is.
okay, I see what you mean. That's good. Yeah, we'll definitely have to try that out. For sure, definitely.
Yeah, it's fucking sick. Okay, so I like to ask everyone this. What do y'all do for like day jobs? What are you doing outside of band stuff?
Well, with right now, I'm really more focusing on my school with me being a senior and I'm about to be out, and then I'm gonna focus more strictly on music, but I'm also gonna try to have a sort of type of income alongside of that to help with that.
I
Hell yeah.
I work for my father and on cars.
Hell yeah. Or is that like, does he have like an auto body shop?
Yeah, he does. He has a shop.
That's fucking sick.
I don't exactly want to say it, the name, but just you
Dude,
know.
it's still cool. Like that's the fact that that's like a thing that you do like on the side. It's very Chevelle.
Mhm.
like the story
Yeah.
that you have right now. It's very cool.
Chevelle, like the band.
Yeah.
What about that? What happened on that?
Well, it's just that their dad worked on cars
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why they named
in
the band.
Chicago. That
Yeah,
was
that's
like
why
their
they named
dad's
it
favorite
Chevelle.
car.
Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I want to play a song from y'all. Do you want me to play that song that you have out?
Yeah. Go ahead. That'll be good. Yeah.
All right, hell yeah. So here is Fear Knows No Bounds by Trailer. So that was Fear Knows No Bounds by Trailer. These guys, uh, seriously, huge round of applause for you guys for like coming, asking to come on to talk about this stuff. And like, I think this is the sky's the limit for y'all. So like, um, nose the grindstone, do the thing that you want to do, and take your time and be here to learn and make sure to ask fucking questions. We're all here for you, dude. You guys are the fucking best.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. I
All right.
really
Well,
do.
listen, you have a wonderful rest of your night, guys. Okay.
Yes, you too. And we'll see you in 10 years when we're playing stadiums.
Let's fucking go, dog. All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right,
Have a
peace
good one.
out.
Bye.